Alright, Chapter 15, Creating Text and Table Styles and Formulas in Tables. When you learn this chapter, create the text style, create the table style, then use the tables command, insert table. In tables, how to use formulas, how to utilize cell functions, steps to create the text and table. Write text in Autocad involve the two simple steps with the create the text style with normally with the created ones, with the called the side with the shape of the text, right text, either single line text or multiple line text. Normal creation of any style with the tedious and likely of the non-mission with the novice for the creative these style within falls on the shoulder of the CAD manager should the always think of the standardization course for the textiles as part of the process. Same thing apply with the table because the usual will perform two steps creating the table style with the insert file with the table text style with the table style with the other style with the show be for part of the template which over the company standards. If you don't have the template, you can share these style with the design center mentioned in the chapter 14. How to create a text style. First step is writing the AutoCAD, creating the text style. The text style is wherever define with the characteristic of your text. Start with the text style command. Go to the annotate tab. Locate text panel. Click with the small area of the lower right hand panel. Following dialog box will appear. Show the style with all the styles black effects upside down, backwards, width factor, oblique, angle, vertical, size, annotative height, font and font style, set current, new, and apply. There'll be two predefined text styles, one called standard, the other called annotated. Virtually the same except for the later use of the annotated feature, which is discussed in Chapter 9. Both step of the Arial is a font. Professional users will be advised not to use two, but to create their own. To create a new style with text style, click with the new button. You will see the following dialog box: style name. Input the name of the new text style through the done and then clicking OK. The first thing you will do is select with the font. There are two types of font that you can use for the AutoCAD shape files. There are very old methods of the font out of date. True font files are TTF files. Check with the illustration below, but they identify true font type files, more accurate and look better. Next, user select the font style applicable with the true type font. You will learn to choose one of the following: regular, bold, italic, and bold italic. Keep annotated off for now, that we'll discuss later. Next, you'll specify the height of the text and the height of the capital letters. Small letters will be 2/3 of the height of the check of the following illustration. Baseline, height, fog. So, how to set the height of the text? Setting the height to be 0 means it will be variable. You may have the input value each time you use the style. Setting the height to value greater than 0 means the height is fixed. Finally, it sets the effects. You have 5 of them: upside down, right the text, upside down, backward to right, from right to left, vertical to right, up, top to bottom. Good from Chinese words, but only for shape files. Width factors is set with the relation between the width of the letter and its length, and the value greater than 1. Text is wide, value is greater than less than 1. Text is long, oblique, angle set with the angle, the italicized either in the right or positive or to the left, the negative. Whenever you are done, click the apply button, close button. You can show all styles and styles in use. Check out the pop-up list to the left that's shown below. Just a practice. Creating a table style. In order to create a professional table, the user should create a table style which holds the feature of the table is best friend with the title header. Data rows using this style you can insert many times as you wish. Table size can be shared using the design center to issue the command annotate with the table tab. Locate with the tables panel, then click the table style button. Also, command table style file dialog box will display. Show the current table style standards, preview the standards, title, header, details, set current, new, modified. Just like the text style, there predefined table style called standard new. But to create new table styles, you will see the following dialog box: create a new table style, new style name. Start with standards. Continue, and cancel or help. Input the name of the new table style. Click continue. You'll see the following dialog box. Shading inside and select the table from the start from general table direction down. Cell styles, data, general text, borders, cell style preview. AutoCAD will allow you to start a new table style based on the existing table in your current drawing, clicking the shown button. If not, you need to specify the characteristics of your table. Select the table direction, whether the down or up. The following illustration. AutoCAD 3 portion of the name of the table title, header, and data. Use the table with the style command. You can set up 3 parts. Select the desired portion, then by setting the feature general tab, text tab, border. The general tab is shown below. Property fill color alignment format type merge margins horizontal vertex merge cells row and column creation text and borders. Edit the following features. Change filler colors on the cell. The default is none. Change alignment to set of the text related with the cell borders. For instance, if you top left, it means that the text will reside at the top left part of the cell. Check with the following illustration. Change the format. You see the following dialog box will allow you to set the format of the cell with the currency and percentage and date and etc. Table cell format, shift the angle, currency data, decimal number, general percentage point, text, whole number, format, additional format. Change the type of the contents of the cell with the data label. This portion is very important. Some of the cells may hold numbers, but the numbers shouldn't be included with a mathematical formula. Hence, the type of the data will be labeled and not data. Change with the margin left with the text away from the border of the cell with the horizontal margin, vertical margin. The text tab is shown below. Text style, height, text color, text angle. Edit these following text style with the text filling of filling of the cells. Text height with the text of the filling of the cells. Note that it is use the text style with the height greater than 0. Number of height is here is meaningless. Change with the text color with the text angle. Check with the following illustration. Border tabs is shown below. Line weight, line type, the color, double line spacing, and it shows apply selected property of the border by clicking the buttons above. Edit the following features. Change the lightweight line type color of the border buttons, border with the double line instead of the single line. Default values, if yes, and the spacing between the lines. Change whether the want your lines representing the column separators, row separators, or not. Inserting a table in the drawing of the command. Insert the table in the current drawing of the issue of the command. Go to the init table. Will locate table panel. Then select the table button. You'll see the following dialog box. In the first step, the desired predefined table style name for available list. If you didn't create your table style yet, use small button beside the list to go to define it right now. Select the proper insert options. Insert the table in your drawing. Pick from the following three choices. Start with the empty table from the data link for this advanced feature of the Autocad from object data in the drawing of the data extraction. This is also an advanced feature of Autocad. Most likely, we will click first choice for the start with the empty table, then now select the insertion behavior, selecting one of the two available choices. Specify insertion point, specify window, specify insertion point option. An insertion point meant that here is an upper left-hand corner of the table to hold the table for its point with a full fill. The rest information fulfilling the following data columns, which mean with the number of columns, column with a width, data row, which mean with the number of the rows, but without title and heads, and row if in lines. Click OK. Autocad will show the following prompts. Specify insertion point. Specify the location of the table. Start filling the cells. You can use arrows at the keyboard. Tab key. Jump from cell to one cell. Shift the tab. Plus tab to go backwards. Specify window. Option. Use the option. Specify window, which means to give the Autocad the whole length with the whole width of the table in order to fulfill the rest of the information following. Fill the following. Input for the number of the columns. Autocad will calculate the column width or column width. Input the column width. Autocad will calculate the number of columns. Input with the number of the data rows. Autocad will calculate the row height, or input the row height. Autocad will calculate the number of rows. Alright, click OK. Autocad will show the following prompt. Specify the first corner, second corner, specify the two opposite corners of the table. So then start with the input cell contents using tab, shift tab, and then practice using formulas and table cells. In this section, you will discuss how to create formulas, Autocad, table cell along with more function like merging cell with the pre-made function and others. If you know how to use the Excel, you can skip this part. If not, read because we will need to incoming parts. When we call the intersection column row and it's called table of cell addresses comes from the column layer with the row number. For example, the B15 with the cell with the column B row 15. Make Autocad known that we'll be writing formulas start with a equal sign along with the cell address. Either use either arithmetic functions like add, subtract, multiply, divide. For example, the B3 divided by 2 plus A9. Autocad provides some pre-made functions such as sum, count, average. It will also allow you to copy formulas one cell to another. CAD opted to make cells address relative. For example, if you let's say we have a formula in cell 3 that says A3 plus B3, we'll copy. If we copy it to C4, what is the result? Autocad will change the formula to A4 plus B4. Autocad provides a tool called Autofill Grip in order to copy the formula. Any cell content, click and drag and upward and downward. Adding a dollar sign will attach the formula either the column or to a row or no both. For example, the column dollar sign F12 meaning with the column F12 with the column usually to use while copying the formula variable the rows. Well, if we type F dot dollar sign 12, this means that row 12 is the row to use while copying variable columns, and then dollar sign F plus dollar sign 12 means will mean a fixed address. There are two different modes of this being table editing, which are if you click on the outer frame, the user for the edit the whole table, the adjusting the total width and height of the whole table, the columns are just like the following. If you click with the group of cells, cell or group itself, it's like with the group itself, click with the drag of the new contact of the table, the table cell will be added with control of the cells. If you double click inside of the cell, you will be able to input data and the edit existing data, hence the text editor context tab will appear to help you to finish your job. In the coming discussion, we'll cover the second case for the table cell context tab and contents. Using the row panel, the user will use the below panel. Insert above, insert below, and delete rows. You can do any of the following. Insert the new row above the selected row, insert the new row below the selected cell, delete the selected row using the column panel. Use the below panel, the insert the left or right, delete. You can do all the following. Insert the new column to the left, the selected rows, insert new column to the right, the selected rows, delete the selected columns, use the merge panel. This user will use the below the panel merge all cells, merge by row, merge by column. You can do any of the following. Merge all selected cells in a single cell, merge selected cells using rows, merge selected cells using columns. If one has selected current different type of the data, number, text, dates, etc., which one will be used. The answer is content of the first cell. You will see the following message: table merge cells. Unmerge cells to bring back the previous condition before merging using cell styles panels. The user will use the below panel. You can do any of the following. Match the cell with the property for the selected cell with the other cell with the select the alignment using one of the design alignments for the content relative to the cell board. Select one of the existing cells for the selected cell. By row, column, data, header, title, create new style cell style, manage cell style. Select one of the color background for the selected cell. Check edited borders. Following dialog box will come up. User will control all properties of the border like line weight, line type, color, double line, spacing, showing border lines or different location. Using cell format panel, the user will use the below panel, cell locking, unlock content, format lock, content format lock. Do all the following. Select whether they're locked, the contents are format both of selected cells. User can unlock or lock cells as well. For data format, the selected cells choosing one of the following, and then you can choose angle, currency, date, decimal number, general, percentage point, text, whole number, current table cell. Also customize the data format something else. Select the custom table to select the format option. You can see the following dialog box. Select the data type you want to change, then make sure for the necessary changes. Click the additional format button. Save the following dialog box. Specify what you want in decimal files and separated, whether announced or suppressed, leading, trailing zeros. Additional current value preview, conversion factor, additional text, number separated decimal files and zero suppression, leading, trailing. Additional formatting using insert panel. Use the panel below insert. You can use the formula, sum, average, count, cell, and equation. You do any of the following with the black button. The following dialog box will come up. Insert a block in a table, name, path, property, scale, rotation, angle, autofill, browse, overcell, alignment, top left, open. Select a block name, click the browse button to bring any of the block file will specify the block scale, autofit the rotational angle with the last specified the overcell alignment to the block reference to the cell border. Field button to insert the field in the cell. Formula button to insert the pre-made formula using the data panel. The user will use the panel below. So the link cell download from source data. You can do any of the following. Link cell button. Following the dialog box will come up. Links over the data link. Excel links. Excel data link. Create a new Excel data link. Details. No details available. Preview. No preview available. Okay. The same dialog box will be dealt with while linking the date with the Excel, creating a link that you want, and then use the download source of the button to bring it into the data from this link. And that's chapter review. Chapter review answers. We're on to chapter 16, dimensions and multi-leader styles.